welcome to my channel. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back to see today's video. And if you're new, welcome. I am Bethany Shanae, and my channel is dedicated to documenting my journey to lose over 120 pounds through diet and exercise naturally, as well as get healthy mentally and physically. I am not a medical professional in any way, shape, or form. This is never medical advice. I'm simply sharing my experience and my journey to get healthy and any tips or tricks I find along the way. So if you enjoyed today's meal prep video, or my bi-weekly update videos, or my weekly update weigh-ins, or my vlogs, please make sure you like, comment, share, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post one of my regularly scheduled videos or my shorts. I would love to have you along with me on my journey. So I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it by now. I am still getting over the flu today, and I am absolutely exhausted. But I am going to make my life a heck of a lot easier, and I'm going to use an Instant Pot for all, I think, 4 things that I'll be cooking today. I'm going to be doing boiled eggs for my salads. I'm also going to make taco meat in here. I will be pressure cooking some chicken leg quarters to shred for the protein on my salads. And I'm also going to slow cook my corned beef and cabbage. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to be having that for my dinner for the week. So first thing I'm going to do, I turned it off. It on the camera screen, it kind of flashes. I don't know if this screen is big enough when it flashes on the screen on my phone to trigger anyone who has that sensitivity to flashing lights, but I am going to pressure cook my eggs. Now, typically I would put a wire rack on the bottom of this. I don't know what happened to my wire rack in the move, so I just put them on the bottom. Something I always do, I saw this on TikTok one time, and it's just a religious routine for me now, is you tap you hold the egg sideways, you tap the back of a spoon gently on the wider end of the egg until you hear a snap. You hear that? Now, for some of them, it will create a tiny little crack, and for others, it's really just, or so I was told, it's really just cracking the membrane inside the egg, and it makes it a lot easier to peel. I'm going to do a full one of these, which is half a cup of water. You put the lid on. You make sure it's on sealed. Mine is up here. I think on different models they have different ways of doing it, but mine, I just make sure that the little nozzle thing is turned towards sealing, and we are going to pressure cook this. So I'm going to hit pressure cook, and I already have it on 2 minutes and it's on high pressure, so that tells me the last thing I pressure cooked was some eggs. So I go ahead, I turn off the keep warm, and it's already turning on. So it's going to take, I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes for it to come to pressure. It'll be at pressure for 2 minutes, and then it will beep, letting me know that it's done. At that time, I'll come back and I'll show you guys how I release the pressure. I do a quick release, and then we'll get the eggs in an ice bath, and I'll show you guys from there. Just so you know, this is the lid, if you can see from there. When it's like this, it says venting right here, and then, I mean, sealing right here, and then down here it says venting. When you turn it this way, steam will shoot out of this. I guess, since I only did 2 minutes of pressure, it wasn't gonna be hot enough or have enough built up pressure to have to do that. So what I'm going to do is, I have a bit of an ice bath I can right here. The last few ice cubes I had, and then just some cold tap water. I'm just going to put my eggs in here. Now, something I like to do is I crack every single egg while it sits in the ice bath, because what that'll do is allow water to seep in between the membrane and the egg and make it easier to peel. We're going to dump out the remaining water, and we're going to switch to the next recipe. So I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So the next recipe I'm going to do in here is going to be my taco meat for my taco salads. So we're going to push the saute button. I don't need 30 minutes, but I want it to be, let's do it on saute normal. If you press the button that you're selecting, so saute, slow cook, poultry, whatever it is, there's on mine it says less, normal, more. It basically you're basically choosing like how high of a heat you want. I have it on normal. It was set to 30 minutes. I'm not gonna be cooking this for 30 minutes. This might take me 5 minutes. So I have some ground beef that I defrosted from my freezer. This was from a bulk pack of ground beef that I had bought a couple grocery videos ago, I think. I have a little more than half of a packet of Great Value taco seasoning left here. I'm gonna use a little bit of onion powder. So you don't have to dry it out. I have it heating up. I can already see what little bit of water was on the bottom. It is evaporating. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down with just some cooking oil, because I think this was a 73-27 pack of ground beef, and this should be, I think it's about 2/3 of a pound. I'm really just doing one taco salad with it because I'm excited for my other salad more. So what I like to do is I like to just crumble it up, break it up a bit. Now that my hands are fresh and washed, This is gonna cook super quickly. Let's see if I can get you guys an angle of what's going on in the pot. You can kind of see in here. So we've got it essentially on medium heat. I'm gonna let this brown up for a while. I might even turn it up a bit just by hitting saute again. Because I'm in the saute mode, this is basically acting like a pot on a burner. So I'm just gonna brown this up and then we'll season it. Okay, I let it cook down for a little while. Now we're gonna add the taco seasoning. Is it just me, or does anybody else think that taco seasoning sometimes smells like body odor? Like, I don't know. Now it starts to smell good once it starts to cook, but I don't know. Sometimes I think it stinks. I'm gonna do just a sprinkle of Tony Chachere's. I like a little kick. And I'm not gonna put any onion powder in here actually, because I can smell they put a lot of onion powder in that taco seasoning. And put a splash of water in here. Tablespoon, 2. That will also help deglaze the pan. That is flavor. Don't you ever throw that away. Now I've already gone ahead and pushed cancel. Remember, the whole pot is hot. I'm gonna put it in a small Tupperware. All right, y'all, so I've cleaned out the pot. Ooh, that's a little hot. Clean it out. I'm ready to do the next part, which is the chicken for my chicken salads. So this is the last 3 pounds or 3 leg quarters that I have left from the last time I did it. I got these from my freezer. They're not from this week's grocery haul. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in here. First I'm gonna put, I think this is a quart, yeah, 32 ounces of chicken stock. I'm gonna double the liquid in this, just so you know. I'm gonna start with 32 ounces of chicken broth, actually, I think. It's probably broth because it was cheap. Broth, yeah. Okay, so I filled this up with water. I unraveled 2 of these little chicken bouillon cubes. I have seasoned meat tenderizer seasoning, garlic powder, and onion powder. I plan on saving the stock that I get from this and freezing it for other recipes in the future. So I have 3 leg quarters. I find these are usually about £1 each because a lot of the times the chicken leg quarter packs, they are 10 pounds, and usually I get 10. Sometimes I get 11 if there's 2 small ones in there. So I'm gonna put this in. Just so y'all know, you don't see me do it because I edit it out, mainly because I don't like how my back looks in my videos, but I wash my hands a lot during these processes. So that's why I like to open all my spices and stuff first, is because if I didn't feel like washing my hands, I'll keep one hand dirty with the chicken and the other hand clean for the seasonings. We'll do a teaspoon of each. How about that? Okay, teaspoon of garlic powder. Now, the reason why I put the water in first is because, or the broth in first, is because I do not want these seasonings sticking to the bottom. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of onion. I like these kind of lids because the spoon fits in perfect and it levels it out for you. I got reduced sodium broth, so it's okay if I add in 2 salt sources. One is gonna be this meat tenderizer seasoning. And then I have 2 cubes of the Herbox chicken bouillon cubes, so I'm gonna put 2 in here. Now the broth is just about to cover the chicken leg quarters. I'm going to add it up to the halfway mark, which is about another inch. So right now it's covering the chicken. I'm gonna add maybe another cup. Right to the halfway line. I'm not trying to make that much broth, so I'm not gonna fill it all the way up to the max. I just want it to be about 1 inch above the chicken leg quarters. Now, put your lid on, put it to sealing, because this is gonna be a pressure cook. Now for chicken leg quarters, I like to do pressure cook for 35 minutes. I'm gonna turn off the keep warm. It's gonna start itself. So I'm gonna let this go. This will probably take 5 to 10 minutes to come to pressure. It'll cook for 35 minutes, and then I will do the pressure release and get started on the corned beef and cabbage. All right, y'all, so the chicken just finished pressure cooking. I am going to release the steam. And while it releases, I'm just gonna speed through peeling these eggs because it's a really obnoxious sound. So I'm gonna cover it. And as you can see, the steam coming off. Now be careful when you take the towel off. It's going to be hot with the steam. Wait until the hissing stops. There's no more steam coming out of here, okay, before you try to unlock it. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I don't know what they treated my counters with before I moved in. Looks like some type of sheet paint. Looks nice though, but I'm gonna put this on a towel. I don't wanna risk the heat damaging my counters. Now I will say the eggs are boiled soft. Like they still have jammy yolks. So I probably will not be dicing these up to go on my salads. I will probably have them on the side of the salads because most of them are just so soft. They're like medium, boiled medium. I would say to avoid this, either do it 1 more minute and still don't do the keep warm, or do the 2 minutes and turn on keep warm, let it sit for another minute or 2. Bones are gonna come right out of this. Look, chicken leg. By the way, I'm putting them in the clean bowl. I washed it, and then I'm just gonna let it cool off so I can touch it. So this, I'm just gonna pour all this stuff. I keep these containers from when I eat out. So like if I order pho or any type of soup, it will usually come in one of these containers. The broth will. Oh God. So I just pour it in there. 2.5 quarts, that's fine. Now I only rinsed this out instead of washing it out. So I'm gonna do the corned beef and cabbage in it next, because I don't mind if that gets a little bit of the flavor of the chicken from around the pot. So I'm gonna leave these uncovered behind me on the counter for the next hour until I go to bed. Now what I'm gonna do next is my corned beef and cabbage. When you're doing corned beef, all of this juice, that is not blood. I've been told it was like some type of brine, and the tannins or whatever in the meat, it's not blood, but there's something else that looks red that comes out of the meat, leaks into the brine. So I'm gonna put the corned beef on top of the cabbage. I have my lettuce washer here. I love this knife set. It's granite stone. They have a skillet set too. I don't suggest the skillets. They are not as advertised. They will not stay non-stick forever, just like the copper pans that say they will be. Do not. They actually lose their non-stick quite quickly. Now I always take the outer leaves off just because that's usually where most of the dirt is going to be. And I don't know about you, but I don't want E. coli or anything else that can come from that dirt. I cut it in half, and then I cut the core out. It looks like that if you could see it. I don't know if you can see that, but cut both cores out. All right, y'all, I like my cabbage to be kind of like in squares. For corned beef and cabbage, I like it in big chunks. Okay, so I have washed the cabbage. Just a quick rinse. I squished it good. Sorry, it's slippery. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just dump it in the bottom. Probably should just do half of this, but that's whatever. More full than it should. Oh, I forgot I'm not pressure cooking. Pressure cooking on your Instant Pot, you can only fill it 3/4 of the way. Slow cooking, you can fill it higher. One thing about me that I absolutely hate when I'm defrosting meat and juice gets in the bottom of my fridge. Major pet peeve. It'll just, my temper, I'm over it. I'm done. At that point, I'm just ready to burn the whole house down. So I always defrost my meats on plates, or if it's something like this, where I can see it has meat juice, you know, or a meat contaminated juice in it, I will always store it in my fridge on a plate on the bottom shelf. Don't jump everywhere. All right, now, corned beef will come with one of two types of, it'll come with either a flat cut or a ballpoint. I like the ballpoint, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, the ballpoint is the more fat marbled part of the corned beef, while the flat point is usually more of a cutted beef that you're gonna have to cut through. Corned beef is gonna come with the brisket, the brine, which is that red stuff, and then these are the spice packet. In this pack, it was taped to the top of the, inside the top of the packaging. So just put it right in there. Okay, now it's all better. Now I'm clean. So yeah, it comes with the meat, the brine, and the seasoning packet. You wanna put it all in the pot, in the crock pot. My mom never showed me a different way to cook corned beef. It was always in the crock pot. I mean, in some years, even if it was just the two of us, we'd cook like 2 or 3 of these because we both just really like corned beef. I love corned beef and cabbage. Now, if you're making this for people who are not keto, you can always add potatoes, corn. Treat it almost like a beef roast. It's just gonna have a different taste. So that's 1 quart. Oh, this is beef broth, sorry y'all. And then here's the other one. Now I wanna make sure I don't put too much liquid in. That's pretty full. Up to here. So the liquid is at the fill line for the corned beef, for the pressure cook. Now the beef is always gonna have a fat cap on it. Leave it alone, leave it there. You don't want it, it's gonna melt into the broth anyway. Just skim it off, but just leave it there because it's essential to the flavor. But yeah, that's all I do for my corned beef. So I'm just gonna put the lid on it. It is almost 7 p.m. Oh my God. It is almost 7 p.m. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm gonna make sure that this is on venting, that the lid, so if you remember, so far when I've used the lid, I put it on sealing because I was using pressure cook on the boiled eggs and with the chicken leg quarters. Now I'm gonna leave it on venting because I'm gonna do slow cook. So I'm gonna hit slow cook. It's gonna be on normal. I kind of want it to be on low. Let's do low for 8 hours. And I'm gonna do delay start 2 hours. Delay start 2 hours. So that's 10 hours from now. Will be 5 o'clock in the morning. Perfect. That is the last thing I'm making in the Instant Pot. And so now we're gonna get to turning what I've made so far into meals. So let me clean this all up, wash my utensils, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so I'm going to start preparing my 4 salads. I'm gonna prep them. I was gonna do them in jars. I used to love salad in a jar series, but I don't have, somehow I'm down to 1 of my large jars. So these will have to do. So I have washed my lettuce. I'm going to, this lettuce, even though I just bought it yesterday, is not the freshest. What I've done is I've layered the leaves, the larger leaves on top of each other flat, and I will cut down the middle, and then I'm just going to thinly chop them. Okay, since I just washed the lettuce, I am going to lay one of these paper towels down in the bottom. I will take this out before I add my dressing and shake it together, but I like my lettuce to be more bite-sized. I don't like big leaves of lettuce in my salads, and I am trying to make this a good mix of the crunchy white bits and the green tops. But I put the paper towel down to absorb the extra moisture so they don't start to wilt too quickly. Now, don't mind my water spot. Now I have 4, these are pretty big green celeries. I've already washed out the tubes. I cut off a small portion of the whites, and then I just cut them to a reasonable length. I think I'm gonna leave them in spot like the circles today, you know. That's a lot of green onion. So I'm just honestly gonna put a little handful on all 4. Now 3 of these salads are gonna get cucumber. It's about an ounce each, I'd say. So I'm just gonna put 1 on each salad. Now I've washed the last bit of strawberries that I had from that pint of strawberries. I'm just gonna quarter the larger ones like this. And I'm gonna actually section out the older strawberries that seem like they're gonna go bad sooner. And I'm gonna put those on the salad I'm gonna have tomorrow. Okay, so far this is what the salads look like. All right, y'all, so I have shredded the chicken. It really shrunk down a bit. So 3 of these salads will be chicken. And then 1 of them is gonna be a taco salad. I'm actually gonna keep this meat separate. I will not eat all this meat on the salad, but I like to heat up my beef, especially when it's ground beef going on a salad. So this will go on this green salad. Now, I have them laid out based on day of the week because this one has the older strawberries. This will be Taco Tuesday salad, and then the other ones have the fresher strawberries for Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. At least one day this week. My friends and I at work will go to lunch. So that's why I'm not making 5. So I'm gonna do a tablespoon or 2. Let's do 2 tablespoons. This is crumbled goat cheese. Okay, so I'll rinse off my spoon. Now I'm gonna put pecans. I'm talking about a small palmful. In the comments below, tell me what is something different that you would put on these salads. These salads with the strawberries are also really good with blueberries. Blueberries and blue cheese. My coworker and I were talking about these salads. I'm gonna do 1 heaping tablespoon of bacon bits on all 4 salads. My friend Raina at work, we were talking about, she made a salad like this, and I was telling her how I love these kinds of salads. They're really good also with nuts from Trader Joe's. They have a sweet and spicy candied nuts. So good on these salads. I have some triple cheddar from Walmart. That's too much. I don't like my salads to be too cheesy. I'm someone that really likes the greens on the salad more than anything else. But right now I'm trying to get the nutrients from everything else. All right, so these are my 4 salads. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the dressings. All right, I have a small food processor. It's over here. I have some ranch dressing left over from Chili's. I'm gonna do a tablespoon, that's like 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna do a hefty squeeze of lemon. Now the last thing I'm gonna do to make this more taco salad approved is, I have some leftover chipotle. I'm shocked these are still good. I'm gonna put like half of one in there. I'm just gonna put the lid on this. I also added a little bit of this through the lid, the Yellowstone garlic, cracked pepper garlic seasoning. That's pretty good. I think it'll be pretty good on the salad. We have to remember that this also has a sauce from the taco seasoning. Now, if I taste this the day I eat this on Tuesday and I'm not feeling this dressing, I will probably just heat this up and mix some of the juice from it with some Caesar dressing that I keep at work and just make a taco Caesar bowl. I've done that before. It actually comes out pretty good. That's gonna have to go on the side. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make the balsamic vinaigrette. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna do my balsamic vinaigrette. There is, let's see, maybe 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I'm gonna add a little more because I really like vinegar. I bought some more yesterday. I'm gonna add another splash. Ooh, that's thicker. I'm going to add in maybe a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I eyeball most things if y'all haven't figured that out by now. I don't want this to be herbaceous. I'm just gonna use the cracked pepper, cracked black pepper and garlic seasoning. This is the last teaspoon or so of the garlic from last week's meal prep. This is gonna be very garlicky. So we just did the garlic, and then I'm also gonna do half a tablespoon of, this is allulose. It's derived from natural sources. It's not a chemical, and studies have found that it actually increases natural GLP-1 production in your intestine, which is what Ozempic and all those weight loss drugs do for you. So it's a natural source for that property. So I'm going to put this on, and I'm gonna start with, we're gonna do 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I love this olive oil bottle. It's glass, but up here you can squeeze it and it'll suck olive oil up, and it has a measurement. So I'm gonna start with the lid of my thing has a hole in it, so we're just gonna speed this up. Okay, so I think because I drizzled the olive oil in, it looks pretty well emulsified, so I'm gonna try it. That is good. Okay, so I have 3 containers here for those 3 salads. I'm gonna add like a tablespoon of water. There we go. I'm okay if it's thin. It's gonna be just fine. I'm gonna add boiled eggs to each. Now, you have to remember while seeing how big of a salad I make that this is my first meal of the day. This is usually between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I might have a protein shake around 5 o'clock, between 3 and 5 o'clock when I'm about to get off work, if I feel snacky at all, to prevent myself from going to get something through a drive-thru on my way home. I'm gonna save these 2 for one of my dinners. I'm saving those last 2 for one of my dinners or snacks. Now let's close these up. Y'all, all right, y'all, it is time for my bedtime. So I've got all my lunches prepped for this week. I have 3 balsamic chicken salads with strawberries, pecans, goat cheese, boiled egg, and bacon crumbles with my homemade balsamic vinaigrette, which is so good. My goodness, I might need to bottle this. And then I have 1 taco salad for Taco Tuesdays with bacon, triple cheddar, taco meat, and then chipotle ranch dressing. I have 2.5 quarts of homemade chicken stock that I will let cool on the counter overnight or in the fridge. And then tomorrow when it is cold, I will crack the lid and stick it in the freezer. Just because when you freeze things, they expand. So I have broken many glass jars doing that. And then I have 2 boiled eggs left over. And then I also still have the 4 pounds of corned beef and cabbage in the Instant Pot cooking for dinners for the week. So in the morning, I will set up and just wrap up the video and let you know how the corned beef turned out. I will most likely store it in the actual Instant Pot liner. Just because I'm doing it in the morning, I'm not gonna have time to get ready for the day, as well as portion this out into Tupperware. So it will just be in the fridge in the Instant Pot liner. But yeah, I'm happy to show you guys how that turns out. As you see, I've got all 4 of these lunches, as well as some broth ready for next recipes. I'm going to go ahead and finish this in the morning. I probably will not have time to record and show you guys how this comes out, the corned beef and cabbage in the Instant Pot. on slow cook, but I will make sure to make a what's for dinner short and show you the texture and how delicious it came out, so you guys know how it went. But yeah, this is all that I was able to get done today. All of this was made in the Instant Pot. It is an absolute amazing kitchen tool. I love it. I use it very often. So thank you guys so much for coming to see today's video. I am absolutely whooped. Hopefully this week I will start to feel better from getting over the flu, but I'm really excited for these salads. They are gonna be so delicious. And I will be sure to let you guys know how this week went in next week's weekly update. So thank you guys so much for coming to see today's video. Again, I am Bethany Shanae, and please remember, if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and you check that little bell next to it so you get notifications anytime I share my weekly meal preps, my bi-weekly grocery hauls, my weekly weigh-in updates, my coming soon vlogs, and my what I eat in a day or what's for lunch or dinner shorts. So thank you guys for coming. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.